This is Bridge with Stephen. Today we're going to discuss overcalls, a form of competitive bidding. Overcalls are our initial suit or no trump call when the opponents have opened the bidding. Notice that I've only included suits and no trump bids, not takeout doubles. Takeout doubles, strictly speaking, are not considered overcalls. The name for overcalls combined with takeout doubles is interventions. So an overcaller is somebody who bids something like a heart or a no trump after an opening bid, but an intervener is somebody who bids a heart, a no trump, or makes a takeout double. Now overcalls are, when they're suit overcalls, they're made with good 5+ card suits and promise about 8 to 16 points if at the 1 level, and about 11 to 16 points if they have to be made at the 2 level. And I'm talking about a non-jump 2 level overcall. For example, something like 1 heart, 2 diamonds. One thing I want you to notice right here is that these ranges have upper limits. An overcall generally promises 16 or fewer points. So there are hands that are actually too powerful to overcall with, and we'll talk about those in a minute. Sometimes you are too strong to overcall. Now, what's the objective when we're overcalling? Well, any one of these 5 things. We may secure the contract. We may end up one of us being the declarer. Overcall will suggest an opening lead if partner is on lead. Overcalls allow us to interfere with the opponent's communication. It might be harder for them to find out if they have a game or where their best fit is. We may push the opponents up too high. By overcalling, we may force them to bid 1 level more than they can make and give us a plus score instead of them. And then finally, overcalls allow us to explore for a possible effective sacrifice. You make an overcall in a 5-card suit, partner's got 5 cards in the same suit, him or herself, and may elect to sacrifice against a game bid by the opponents. Now, suit quality. One big difference between overcalls and opening bids. Overcalls, besides the fact they could be much weaker, we would need about 12 points to open with these hands, whereas we might need only as few as 8 to overcall. But an important difference is that an opening bid can be made with a very bad suit. I can open 1 heart with a 5-card heart suit headed by the 9 or the 10, as long as I have the strength outside of my 5-card suit. But that's not true with overcalls. The suit quality has to be at least decent. Your hand can be weaker to overcall than to open, but the suit must be respectable. And I've given some examples of what I consider respectable suits. This might be spades, this might be spades, this might be spades, and you might overcall with any of those suits. One rule of thumb that I like is your suit should at least be headed by the queen, so that if partner has king doubleton in your suit and you've made an overcall in that suit, partner won't be embarrassed by plopping down the king. You would hate to find a declare with ace queen in your suit. You've got jack 5th or jack 6th, and opener had the king offside, would have won a finesse, but now it's just laid it down and given it to declarer. You don't want that to happen. So the suit ought to be at least decent. This is 2 of the top 3, this is 3 of the top 5. This is also 3 of the top 5, but fairly solid and a little bit longer. Okay, let's talk about the language we use to describe types of overcalls. Overcalls can be in suits or in no trump. And the suit can either be a new suit, such as 1 spade from right-hand opponent, followed by a 2-diamond overcall. This would be the 2/1 non-jump response that required 11 to 16 points. Or it can be a Michael's Q bid, for example. A right-hand opponent's bid 1 club, I bid 2 clubs. That's a suit overcall. Or the overcall can be a no trump. If it's a simple no trump overcall, it will show 15 to 18 high card points and a stopper in the opponent's suit, a subject we discussed at more length when we were discussing no trump specifically. So here would be an example: 1 spade by my right-hand opponent. I make a 1 no trump overcall. I'm promising 15 to 18 points in a spade stopper. If the opponent's open in a weak 2 diamonds, 2 no trump is the way to show the same hand: 15 to 18 high card points and a diamond stopper. Or it can be a jump no trump overcall, such as 1 club 2 no trump, this so-called unusual 2 no trump, and this bid shows the 2 lowest unbid suits. So in the example of 1 club 2 no trump, I'd be showing at least 5/5 length in diamonds and hearts. Okay, I use the term simple and jump overcall, and I'm just going to emphasize them here. Here's a simple overcall, a 1/1, and a 2/1, but they're non-jump. 1 heart, 1 spade, 1 heart, 2 diamonds. Or I can make a jump overcall, one diamond, two hearts. This would be a typical week two bid. I might have opened two hearts with that hand had there not been a one diamond call before me. We can describe an overcall as being direct. In other words, it either follows the opponent's bid immediately with no bids in between, or they can be balancing. They can come three bids later. So for example, a direct overcall would be one club on my right and one diamond by me. Another example of a direct overcall would be one club on my left. Partner passes, right-hand opponent responds one heart, now I overcall one spade. So even though this is a fourth seat overcall, it's a direct overcall because it follows directly after one heart with no intervening bids. On the other hand, we have the balancing overcalls. Here's one in a suit, one heart from my left, pass, pass, one spade. Here's the no trump overcall, one heart from my left, pass, pass, one no trump. And I want to make a point here, something we discussed when we talked about no trump. This bid is different than other no trump overcalls. It's weaker, it generally shows 11 to 14 points, and we handle the responses to it differently. And then we can also describe overcalls as either natural, such as one diamond on my right, followed by one heart, I have a heart suit, or they can be artificial, and those bids are always forcing because artificial bids don't mean what they say they mean. So if one club on my right, I might bid a Michael's 2 club, that's showing heart, 5-card suits and hearts and spades. That's a forcing bid because it's artificial. And likewise, if there's one club on my right and I make an unusual 2 no trump overcall to show the diamonds and hearts, that's going to be forcing. So, suits and no trump, simple and jump, direct and balancing, natural or artificial. Now let's look at a couple of interesting situations. Sometimes you can't overcall even with opening strength. Consider this hand. You're 4-1-4-4. You do have opening strength. If right-hand opponent opens one club, one diamond, or one spade, you have no call. Had right-hand opponent opened a heart, you could have made a takeout double, which is not an overcall. But because if right-hand opponent is opened in a club, a diamond, or spade, you have no bid now, even though you have opening strength. You don't have a 5-card suit to overcall in, and you don't have the strength or shape to overcall in no trump. Another situation where you might not be able to overcall even with opening strength is when all you have is the opponent's suit. You hold this hand. Had right-hand opponent bid one club, you'd have been glad to overcall one diamond. However, if right-hand opponent opens one diamond, you have to remain silent. You have no bid. You can't, you don't want to bid no trump here, and you don't have a 5-card suit outside of the opponent's suit to name. So sometimes you can't overcall even with opening strength, but you often get a chance to come back in. On a second call. Now, sometimes you are too strong to overcall. I mentioned that earlier. Overcalls have upper limits. If you pick up a hand with 18, 19 points, you may miss a game if you overcall. Partner may have 7 or 8 points of his or her own and has no way of knowing that you have the strength to make game. So what we do in that situation, and we talked about this when we talked about doubles, is we make a double that initially looks like a takeout double. Let's say right-hand opponent's bid a heart, and you pick up this hand. You double, because your hand is far too strong to overcall. It's not going to take much from partner to make 4 spades in this hand. So if partner provides as little as, say, the queen of clubs and the king of hearts, you have an excellent shot at game. So you're not going to overcall spades, you're going to bid double. Now partner's going to think you're making a takeout double, and partner will respond with his or her favorite suit, the suit that hand suggests should be trump. Very likely diamonds in this case. When you do make an actual takeout double, you never change partner's choice. What you're saying when you're actually making a takeout double, and this is not a takeout double, this is going to end up being a strong double, but when it is a takeout double, what you're saying is, I can support anything you choose. And so once you choose something, I'm either going to pass or raise that. I'm not going to change the denomination. When that happens, when a double is followed by an answer from partner, and then doubler bids a new suit, what it means it was a hand like this. So I would bid a right-hand opponent would bid a heart, I'd make a double. Let's suppose left-hand opponent passes and partner now bids the expected 2 diamonds. When I bid 2 spades, that alerts partner to the fact that I have the strong double. This hand is too good to overcall with. All right, let's look at how we advance partner's suit overcalls. And we're going to be working with the assumption that left-hand opponent has bid a heart, partner's overcall 1 spade, Right-hand opponent is passed, and now it's to us. When we have 3+ card support and 6 to 9 points, we make a raise, and generally according to the law of total tricks. With 3 card support, we're assuming partner has 5 spades, we can raise 1 spade to 2 spades. With 4 card support, we can bid 3 spades, and with 5 card support, we can jump to 4 spades. So that's what we do when we have 6 to 9 points as support. When we have support and a limit raise or better, in other words, with 3 card support and 10 or more points, we're going to make a Q bid of the opponent's suit. So the bidding will have gone 1 heart to my left, 1 spade from partner, pass on my right. I'm going to bid 2 hearts now in this position. I'm going to bid their suit, and what that's going to tell partners I have in hand something like this: a limit raise or better in support of partner spades. We're going to see a little bit later that there's another use for the Q bid. We'll use the Q bid anytime we want to make a forcing bid. For example, we have a hand so strong that we don't want to just raise partner suit. We have something else in mind. Now, another possibility is that we can bid a new suit. This should be a good 5+ card suit, and it tends to deny support for partners' overcall suit. It's non-forcing if it's a non-jump suit. If the bidding, for example, were to go 1 heart on my left, 1 spade, passed, and I were to have a hand like this and make a 2 diamond call, that's not forcing. Okay, see, I have no support for partner spades. I have at least 10 points. I might bid 2 diamonds here. If I want to make a forcing bid in a new suit, I have to jump. You can decide for yourself whether you want that jump to be invitational or game forcing. And this is another difference between when you and your partner are opener and responder versus when you and your partner are overcaller and advancer. A new suit by an unpassed partner that is not a jump is forcing when those partners are opener and responder. So if I bid 1 heart and you bid 1 spade, that bid's forcing. On the other hand, if we're overcalling, say it's got a diamond over here and I bid a heart, pass, and now you bid a spade, that's not forcing. That's another one of the differences between those two orientations, opening versus overcalling. We can also advance partner's suit overcall with a no trump bid. We're promising a stopper in the opponent's suit. If we can make if partner's made a 1-level overcall and we have a choice of 1, 2, or 3 no trump as responses, this is a recommended range of strengths for each of those calls. With 8 to 11, the bidding would go 1 heart, 1 spade, pass, 1 no trump. With 12 to 15, 1 heart, 1 spade, pass, 2 no trump, and 3 no trump with 16 or more. If partners had to overcall at the 2 level, suppose left-hand opponents bid a spade and partners bid 2 hearts now, we can bid 2 no trump at 11 to 12 and 3 no trump with 13 plus. These ranges might be a little hard to remember. The mnemonic that I use is 8, 12, 16. These keep going up by 4, and the range fills in everything that's under. So starting with 8 and ending at below 12, it gives me 8 to 11. Starting with 12 and ending below 16 gives me 12 to 15. And these two ranges are the same as those bids would mean if partner had opened one of a minor. So if partner had opened 1 diamond and I bid 2 no trump, I'm usually showing 11 to 12. If partner had opened 1 club and I bid 3 no trump, I'm generally showing 13 plus. Okay, so that might help you remember those ranges. We can also make a double if right-hand opponent has bid. So let's suppose left-hand opponent has bid a diamond, partner's overcalled a spade, right-hand opponent has bid 2 diamonds, and we can make a double here. This might be, some people would play that as a responsive double, indicating the unbid suits. Partner can't really tolerate spades, but perhaps has clubs and hearts and is asking overcaller to bid his or her preference. And then finally, we mentioned Q bids over here when we were raising partner with a limit raise or better. But we can also Q bid with any hand in which we have game or slam interest. How do we know which Q bid it is? Well, partner will assume it's this one. And in this example right here, partner has bid, partner's overcalled his spades. If I make this Q bid, I'm never going to change away from spades. If partner goes back to say 2 spades after 2 hearts, or maybe 4 spades, or whatever, I'm not going to change that. But with this kind of hand, where I'm not really showing a limit raise or better to support a partner, I'm just showing a big hand with possible slam interest. What I'm going to do is, as we did with the strong double, I'm probably going to change partner's choice. Partner will make some bid of spades, thinking that we have this kind of hand, and then we'll change suits probably. Okay, now how do we advance partners no trump overcall? Very much the same way we would if partner had opened, that is, had opened a no trump, but only when it's a direct no trump overcall. When it's a balancing no trump overcall, we're going to handle it differently, not like we do when partner opens no trump. So with a direct no trump overcall, such as one diamond, one no trump, we say systems are on. Stamen and Jacobi apply. So our choices after a no trump overcall from partner, and remember this shows 15 to 18 high card points in a stopper in the opponent's suit. We can make a two club stamen call, and it shows the same thing it would if partner had opened a no trump, 8 or more points, and 1 or 2 4 card majors. And notice this says 4 card major, not 4 plus. If we have a 5 card major, we're going to be doing a transfer with it, assuming we don't have a 4 card major as well. Remember, when we have a 4 card major and a 5 card major, we go through stamen first. But when we only have a 5 card major or longer, we're going to use a Jacobi transfer. And the Jacobi transfers would be 2 diamonds, 2 hearts, or 2 spades. Diamonds is a transfer to hearts, hearts is a transfer to spades, and spades is a transfer to clubs. These bids don't promise any points. They only have to have, they can be as weak as 0 points. If we bid 2 diamonds or 2 hearts to transfer to a major, we're promising a 5 plus card major. Whereas when we bid 2 spades to transfer to a minor, we're promising 6 cards in that suit. Or we can just raise no trump. If partner has got 1 diamond, 1 no trump pass, we can bid 2 no trump like we always would with 8 to 9, or we can bid 3 no trump with 10 plus points. With a balancing no trump overcall, the systems are off. We're not playing stamen or Jacobi here. 1 diamond, pass, 1 no trump. We either pass that bid or start bidding 4 card suits up the line. I'll let you study that subject independently since it's not our main issue here. But balancing no trumps are weaker. They're 11 to 14 points, as we mentioned earlier, not 15 to 18. They don't necessarily have to promise a stopper, but they probably should. But notice that they're much weaker. How do we advance partners weak 2 jump overcalls? So let's say left-hand opponent has bid 1 diamond and partner's made a jump overcall to 2 hearts. That shows a 6 card or longer suit and a weak hand. So we give the same responses as we would if partner had opened the weak 2. We can extend the preempt, 1 diamond, 2 hearts, pass 3 hearts. We tend to do that with a 3 card support or better and about 6 to 9 points. We can raise to game in 1 of 2 circumstances, either with weak hands when we want to make an early sacrifice, or with stronger hands where we expect to make the contract. You may remember the so-called rule of 17, where you add your high card points to trump support. And if that total 17, you put partner in game with the expectation of making it. But there are also preemptive bids where you might just have 5 cards in partner's suit and 6 or 8 points and just want to jump to 4 hearts to interfere with the opponents. We can bid a new suit when and generally we consider this forcing, as we do when partner opens weak 2. You may remember the RONF, raise only, non-forcing, meaning that responses to weak 2s are always forcing unless there's some kind of a raise of the weak 2 suit. So if partner's overcall 2 hearts, and I bid 3 hearts, that's non-forcing. If I bid 4 hearts, that's non-forcing. But anything else, a new suit or no trump, that's forcing. So this new suit might go something like 1 diamond, 2 hearts, pass, 2 spades, and that would be considered forcing. And you can look at the YouTube that we put together for weak 2s to get more information on this subject. 2 no trump can mean what you want it to mean. Some people consider a 2 no trump response to a weak 2 asking for a feature in a side suit. Some people play a convention called August, where they use a series of steps similar to Blackwood. But of course, the steps in Blackwood begin after 4 no trump to go 5 clubs, 5 diamonds. Here we're doing the same kind of thing. After 2 no trump, 3 clubs means poor hand, poor suit. 3 diamonds means poor hand, good suit. 3 hearts means good hand, poor suit. And by good hand, remember we're talking about bids. Weak 2 bids are 6 to 10 points in general, so a good hand would be a good 8 to 10. And then finally, pass is the other option. So this is how we handle advancing most overcalls, and that's it for today.